At the home of Angels, heartbreak again. A month after a student was shot and killed outside of school, police say this morning a student pulled a gun on two administrators who were patting him down, shot both of them, and fled. The search for that 17-year-old suspect, Austin Lyles, has taken law enforcement up into the high country, about 45 miles away to Bailey. The sheriff up there says that they have located the suspect's car, but have not yet found him. Our Cole Sullivan is there in Bailey, where people got an alert that they needed to stay indoors. Cole?
That alert went out around 4:30 for a 5-mile radius from where I am right now, Kyle. This is a very active search. Seconds ago, we saw a Jefferson County Sheriff's Office vehicle with K-9 units come through. A few minutes before that, a convoy of SWAT vehicles went through. I want to show you exactly where we are. If I'll step out of the way, you can see down this road, this is Highway 68 in Bailey. There's a roadblock on this road that they're not letting anybody, media or residents on this road, go any further. And that caused problems for one woman who was trying to get home from work. Ariane says her wife and nephew were in her house about 7 miles up Highway 68. They've locked the doors and sheltered in place, in part because of that alert sent out by the Park County Sheriff's Office for a 5-mile radius. I want to give you an idea of just how rural this mountain road is. It turns to a dirt road about 2 miles from where we are. You can see an area there in this video. That's where the police command post was earlier today. After the sheriff confirms they found that red Volvo, they're looking for the student still, but found the suspect's vehicle up this road. It's so rural. That command post, Kyle, had to move about 2 miles down the mountain closer to where we are now because there's no cell service up there. They were having trouble with their computer logistics, I'm told, but they have a huge search ongoing still here. It's mountains on both sides of the road. There are trees. Ariane, that woman who lives up this road, told me there are summer vacation homes up there that may be vacant. There are also campsites that are being searched. There's a large police presence with multiple agencies, including federal agencies, agents with long guns in this area. We see a plane circling overhead as well. And we're also told they've staged ambulances and will be staging a life flight helicopter here in the coming minutes or hours as the search for this suspect continues. Kyle.
You just hope that this ends with no loss of life, no injury to anybody. And it was interesting this morning, Cole, that it was clear that law enforcement did not plan to identify this teenage suspect by name unless they had to. They knew who he was. They didn't initially tell the public. They said they were checking his house and some other places. Then after a couple hours went by and it was clear that he had broke contain, that's when they put out his name, his photo, and a vehicle description asking people to be on the lookout.
And that's when we first started getting word, Kyle, from areas in the high country. The Park County School went on lockdown in that area because they said, the superintendent says they had a ping from the suspect's cell phone up here near Conifer. That's why they initiated the search in this area and found that vehicle.
Cole Sullivan in Bailey for us. Thank you, Cole. The school staff who were shot this morning were both administrators, and we can tell you within the last hour or so, one of them has been released from the hospital. Gerald Mason and Eric Sinclair were the East High deans who were shot this morning. Mason was treated and released from Denver Health. Sinclair is in serious condition. He underwent surgery earlier today for what was described as at the time as life-threatening injuries. Police say that they were shot while they were patting down Austin Lyle. That was a security measure that student was subject to every day because he was believed to be a danger. This afternoon, DPS Superintendent Dr. Alex Marrero single-handedly brought Denver police back into Denver schools in defiance of a unanimous school board decision in 2020. Dr. Marrero announcing that there would be 2 armed officers at East for the remainder of the school year and 1 armed officer at the rest of Denver's large high schools. In 2020, the school board kicked DPS officers off campus, concerned about the school to prison pipeline. Late this afternoon, the school board issued a statement saying that they agreed with Marrero's decision to bring police in for the end of the school year. The parents who all rushed to East earlier today to pick up their kids after another violent incident at this school were not just concerned. Many of them were angry. And then they spotted the mayor and the police chief. Our Mark Salinger was there.
Some of that money out your pocket. This is not normal.
After 2 shootings at East High School in less than 2 months, anger is obvious.
This is traumatic. They shouldn't have to do this.
Parents confront the mayor and police chief
You guys don't get it?
as they wait outside the crime scene to see if their kids are okay yet again.
It's scary.
You know, it's like this is a second shooting this year. It's just scary.
Tiffany Wright knows the frustration.
There's nothing you can do. You're nervous, you're anxious, you just want to see your kids' faces and make sure they're okay.
At the same intersection where an East High School student was shot and killed last month.
Hey, this is too much like not right.
Parents like Lawrence Goshan
You gotta be here.
wait to reunite with their kids.
Isaiah.
Yeah.
What floor are you on?
Third floor.
Okay.
He won't hand up the call with his son until he sees him come out of the school.
Say right now, I'm scared. I'm tired of my son going through this. Like it's his freshman year. He's never been exposed to this much violence ever in his life.
Oh, it's just again and again. It just never seems to stop, and there's no solution.
2 administrators shot by a student with a gun.
He just said, I was scared. I'm scared. And there's a lockdown again.
Again.
All these kids want to do is learn.
Again.
That's it. This is it, man.
There are few answers that calm the frustration.
These are our kids. I don't want to come and get my kid and have her take her to the funeral on a casket. I don't want that. What are you guys going to do?
Outside East High School,
There they are.
Tiffany finds relief again.
Hello. Hi, babies. So glad y'all safe.
A lot of these families are having some really difficult conversations tonight as the questions arise of whether or not it's safe to continue sending their kids to school here. I've spoken with several families who say, nope, this is the line that's been crossed. I'm no longer sending my kids to East High School. They say they've gotten far too many texts, Kyle, from their children that are in classrooms saying we're on lockdown again.
Mark, it's so sad because this is one of the great urban high schools in Colorado that has always had such incredible pride in its students' accomplishments and in what goes on at this school. To hear that people might now be voting with their feet and taking their kids out of East High School because they feel like the district's not in a position to keep them safe, that is a striking statement about this kind of school.
Absolutely, and you have to understand that frustration, that anger. The intersection that I'm standing at exactly right now, just over a month ago, was the exact intersection where an East High School student was shot and killed. These parents are angry, they're frustrated, and they say not enough is being done to keep their kids safe.
Mark Salinger, thank you. So many of the questions today focused on this idea that there are some students coming to East High School and other high schools who are believed to be so dangerous that they are getting daily pat-downs for weapons. Now, you talk to teachers and administrators and they'll tell you this is a fact of life in a lot of school districts these days. DPS says that 878 of its students have gone through a threat assessment so far this school year, an assessment to determine if they could be a threat to themselves or to someone else. And in some situations, one of these safety plans is implemented. Here's Marshall Zellinger.
The student accused of shooting 2 East High School staffers was being pat down in an office as part of an agreed-upon search, according to the district superintendent and Denver Police Chief Ron Thomas.
This particular student actually had a safety plan that was in place where they were to be searched at the beginning of the school day every day.
It's not unusual to have this level of search conducted on multiple students in your building on any given day.
John McDonald is the former security chief at Jeffco Public Schools and now works for the Council of School Safety Leadership, which trains school principals, school boards, and superintendents on incidents like today. He explains safety plans can range from keeping distractions out of school to concerns about weapons and safety.
Some students, for example, in a safety plan, we may say you can't bring a cell phone into school, maybe because you engaged in behavior that was inappropriate on the cell phone, so we're going to search you every day to make sure you don't have a cell phone on you. Some cases it may be we're worried about a weapon because of a threat you made.
DPS Superintendent Alex Marrero would not say specifically what prompted this student's pat-down safety plan.
So it's based on past behavior, and that's as far as I can feel comfortable saying.
DPS has a campus safety guide, and it says safety plans allow for students to be searched by a school leader. But in bold, the policy says if it is suspected that a student has a weapon, an employee of the DPS Department of Safety must conduct a search. A DPS spokesman told us it was staff, not a safety officer, that conducted today's search. But if a student has a safety plan that requires a pat-down search, why is the student allowed in school at all?
Safety plans are a step before you make the determination that that student is not safe enough to be on school property?
I checked with several metro area school districts about their safety policies. The ones that got back to me, Aurora, Cherry Creek, and Jefferson County, all provided similar safety plans that call for certain pat-downs in certain situations. They also provided me information, Kyle, about how many school resource officers they have. Aurora was specific, 2 in every high school, along with a school district officer, and Cherry Creek has 1 in every high school, along with a school district officer.
We can't keep parents from being worried, but we can help them not be surprised. Ask questions about what's going on in your kids' school buildings as it relates to security, and we'll keep asking those questions as well. Marshall, thank you. Back at East High School in Denver, where classes have been canceled for the rest of the week ahead of spring break after 2 administrators were shot this morning by a student who is believed to have fled to the high country. Law enforcement is closing in on him there. The DPS superintendent says that when classes resume here, there will be 2 armed Denver police officers on this campus and an armed DPD officer at every other large high school in the district. That goes against a school board decision in 2020 that governs security in DPS today.
Motion passes.
The Denver School Board voted unanimously in the summer of 2020 to remove 18 Denver police officers from its schools and to rely on the school district's own safety officers instead. The decision came amid social justice protests. It was based on data showing the vast majority of students ticketed and arrested had been Black and Latino students between the ages of 10 and 15. The district now has about 20 armed patrol officers who go campus to campus. They're not assigned to specific schools. Those officers are licensed security, not sworn police, so they must call Denver police to make an arrest. The city of Denver has given the DPS patrol officers authority to issue tickets for some minor offenses like drug possession, fighting, and vandalism. DPS also has unarmed campus safety officers who are assigned to specific school buildings. They carry pepper spray and handcuffs, which are only to be used as a last resort. Today, Denver Mayor Michael Hancock said that he supports the idea of armed Denver police officers being brought back to DPS campuses. Not his call. It belongs to the school board ultimately. But the mayor and the next mayor have allowed bully pulpit on the issue, which is why we've asked all of the candidates running where they stand on this. Want to show it to you now. The mayoral candidates who have expressed support for bringing DPD officers back into Denver schools are Kelly Brough, Al Gardner, Chris Hansen, Mike Johnston, Debbie Ortega, Trinidad Rodriguez, and Andy Rougeau. The mayoral candidates who have not expressed support for returning Denver police to DPS schools are Lisa Calderon, Leslie Herod, Aurelio Martinez, Terrence Roberts, Ian Tafoya, Jim Walsh, and Thomas Wolf. As we watched parent after parent reunite with kids outside of East High School today, you saw kids being reassured that they were safe for now. And that sadly is all that parents are able to promise kids these days. That when the latest shooting happens, the latest incident, that they're safe for now. And those students are going to be expected to return here after spring break, to walk past the spot down the street where their friend Luis was shot and killed, walk past the spot where Mr. Mason and Mr. Sinclair were shot this morning, and they'll be expected to go inside and sit down and learn. If it wasn't incredibly obvious before this morning as we watched parents reuniting with kids, we are asking far too much of young people and giving them far too little in return. Just a hug and a pledge that they're safe for now.